Welcome to the Barbershop Show. I'm your host, Matt Horner, with my buddy, Keith. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Matt. How's it going?
Doing good.
Where have you been for the last
Man,
2
I
weeks?
have been away for 9 days to the Magic Kingdom, Disney World. And,
Ooh.
Yeah. And we were only there for 4 days. We chose to enjoy the suffering and come back even more tired by driving 20 hours.
You just didn't want to
And that's
splurge.
straight Google time. That's not like you got a kid that says, I need to pee 30 minutes after you left your last stop and you got to pull over again. You know, that's straight Google time.
So you
Horner
spend-
time is more like a 20-hour road trip is like a 32-hour road trip.
Oh my gosh. So you splurged thousands on Disney,
Oh, yeah.
but then don't want to buy the airline tickets.
Yeah, no, right. The idea is like, let's extend this wonderful vacation into a jail prison called a minivan that's rolling down the road, and the kid going, ah, that's my Lunchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually happened. I had to pull over and give a little swat, little spanking over a Lunchable issue.
It's a real good thing for the
Mm-hmm.
kids to know at any moment this van could whip off the freeway and the sliding doors slamming open and you're going to be ripped out of your seat.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then I'm just aggravated. I pulled over one more time, you know? And I was at a point like, when we stop, you're going to the bathroom. I don't need to go to the bathroom. There's not a choice in this thing. I want to see some urine hitting that funnel cake or whatever in the urinal, you know, urinal cake. I mean,
Urinal cake, yeah.
I said funnel cake, urinal cake. And because it's just like the moment they don't go to the bathroom, 30 minutes down the road, it's like,
Oh,
I got to pee bad.
totally. It's an emergency.
It's an emergency.
Yeah. We've had that experience where
And I got good country boys that I can just pull off into the shoulder of the road and open up the door and just pee them there in the shoulder. But every now and then, you know, they get a little uppity thinking they need a toilet.
we pulled over one time on a road trip because we used to travel a lot in the ministry. And I've had one of my boys, I don't remember which one, he just peeing on my truck, you know, like on the door. And I was just like, hey, man, point that thing at the ground.
Yeah.
You
Like,
know?
yeah. My 4-year-old, you got to be careful with him because he'll hit the side panel of your door and next thing you know. But, well, then the great thing now with minivans, they're comfortable. They got great gas mileage. Everybody's got their own little bucket seat, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. TV.
But that's also the problem because a 4-year-old just constantly has stuff roll off his lap and then he can't reach it. So then, you know, you're doing the one arm
I
stretch
just let him
Armstrong.
unbuckle.
Yeah.
Hey, if we get in a wreck in the next 20 seconds, it was your lot in life.
I'm kind of okay with that too. But the constantly dropping juice boxes and crayons and things. But we got a TV now in the minivan. We didn't have that as a kid. So what we thought was we're going to ride all these rides at Disney. Bugs Life, Little Mermaid, Snow White. I was trying to think of some others. But all these rides are movie themed. And that we're going to watch all these Disney movies on the way to Disney. So they just watched the movie, like Little
that's
Mermaid.
cool.
And then we're going to ride the Little Mermaid. Okay.
Yeah, that's fun.
And so, I mean, it was fun.
So tell me about Disney. What is that? I've never been to Disney World. I've only been to Disneyland, and I was a kid. So give me the Disney experience. What does that look like?
So, I think for a lot of people, we did it right because I went to the great teacher called YouTube and researched how to do Disney right. Go during the school year. Go specifically after spring break or after Christmas. They give discounts. That's when we went. And there's a lot less people. But for a lot of people, it's in the summer in almost 100-degree heat, standing in an hour and 40-minute line to go ride a 30-second or 2-minute roller coaster. You know what I'm saying?
So that's real. You did stand in line for an hour and 40 minutes.
No, that's for a lot of people in the summer.
Okay, so that's not your
me.
experience.
So my experience was not many people there, great temperatures, 80, 75, and short lines, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And Disney app was great. But
You said the Disney app?
yeah, they have an app
For your
lets-
phone.
For your phone.
Has it got like the map on it? Or
It has a map. It'll tell you the Disney all the wait times. So like you just got done with the ride, right?
Uh-huh.
And the park's huge. I mean, it looks like the size of a small town.
Okay.
And so sometimes to walk to something is quite a distance. So you can look in the app and say, hey, it's 5 minutes to this other ride. So
5 minutes to the other ride.
yeah. And so you look on the app and it tells all the wait times on all the rides.
Okay.
So you don't go walk to a ride that has a 40-minute wait. You walk to a ride that's got a 5-minute wait.
Awesome.
So if you use technology, Disney's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
You got a lot of people just kind of what I call Disney creepers. They're called the mascots of Disney. They look at you, shake their head left and right, move their like 4-fingered palms, and want to take pictures with you.
Lots of pictures.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I've often wondered, because I had mascot days back in my day. I was in high school. If I would have went professional, I could have been a Disney mascot.
You could have. So what is it like walking into Disney for the first time with this was your first time?
Yes, first time at Disney World.
So you go through these huge gates, right?
Huge gates. We went at rope drop. Rope drop is the actually dropping of a rope where the park is open. There's kind of a lot of people there. And they have a song, and Mickey comes out and he sings, and then the rope drops, and everybody kind of rushes to the rides they want to run to. I suggest going to that. It's a good entertainment, the little song and everything.
Okay.
And then we'd always hit the rides that were the long waits. So like the hour plus waits, you hit those right away in the morning at rope drop. You're normally the first or second in line.
Okay.
And you get in.
So it was really not a lot of people this time of year when you went.
No, and you go at rope drop too when there's even less.
Okay, cool.
And then we go back and take a nap because our little munchkins were tired.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you stayed at Disney?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Was that cool?
It was cool. We stayed near the resort. Remember a few years ago, there's a lot of alligators at Disney. And remember, like 2-3 years ago,
a kid got eaten.
A little boy got eaten at Disney.
Yes, I remember that.
So that was something I watched for alligators. So,
yeah, because there's a lot of body of waters there.
Oh yeah, a lot of water there. They had signs up everywhere too.
Really?
Yeah.
Like watch out for alligators.
Watch out for alligators. Had like a Cabbage Patch Kid cradled in an alligator's mouth.
Oh my gosh!
Not really.
Stop it!
It would go, "Mama, mama."
That's terrible. You're awful. Because that was a horrific story.
It was a horrific story.
The dad went in there to try and get his boy out, and he couldn't.
It was. It was, but they do got signs up now all over the place, and I think they had beaches at all these resorts, and I think they would let people kind of play in this lake water that makes sandcastles, and now they got these little fences up that don't go near the water.
Yikes!
And, so it was kind of crazy. We stayed at some cool cabins, really neat. It was just a lot of fun. Every little resort has a water park, and so that was fun. Swimming, and we had golf carts. We drove around the park because it was so big. You can rent a golf cart and drive everywhere. Oh,
really?
So that was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you can ride from roller coaster to roller coaster?
No, you go from like bus station, or to the main entrance. Once you get into the roller coaster area, you got to walk.
Okay.
But like from the cabins to the park is far, or to the cabin to the swimming pool, or the cabin to the restaurant, or
Did you have some good food?
Yeah, it's great food. I love a hot dog that costs $12. Soft serve is $6. I love sharing my ice cream of soft serve for $6.
With a snotty nosed kid.
And then them eating it all. So it was nice. I
think
I lost
pretty
weight.
Expensive.
It's expensive. So we went the old school way. We brought a backpack, a loaf of bread, and a jar of peanut butter and jelly, and just here you go, kid.
That sounds like something I'd do.
Here's a sandwich, and enjoy it. It's $5, please.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so it can be expensive. I think there's all these tricks that you can do. There's couponing, and there's just ways you can save money. The scary thing is now they give you a bracelet. And it's your room key. You can buy stuff on it.
Yeah, they did that at the Great Wolf Lodge as well.
Yeah, and
really
so
cool.
You slap them things on your kids. Next thing you know, your son's walking up to you with a large soda pop and a ice cream. He just dropped $20
or Bud Light.
Yeah,
Look what I got, Daddy.
Yeah, I knew you wanted it.
So, number one favorite thing about Disney?
The rides are a lot of fun, and just the atmosphere is great. I mean, the villages, how everything's built, quickly they're putting everybody in a good mood. I mean, even though I'm, because that would rub me wrong. I just spent $6 on a okay thing of soft served ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so happy around me. It's like, I just spent $6. You know what I'm saying? They make it so happy for them to take your money. You're
That's
happy.
hilarious.
Like, take it, But it is a fun thing. We did, I remember the day we were leaving, it's like, I wish we could stay another day. And
Really?
yeah, and so we even picked up the phone. It's like, Sarah's like, just call and see if you can get another day. And I'm like, okay. And I grabbed the phone and, I'm trying to negotiate another day. And of course, they were sold out.
Oh, wow. So 4 days was a lot, but not. You would have stayed 5.
I would have stayed 5.
Okay.
Well, you end up having so much fun, and your kids are having a great time, and they're just excited, and they meet Mickey Mouse, and Mickey talks to them in his weird, never hit puberty way, and I mean, Mickey's how old now?
After all these years.
After, the guy still hasn't dropped his voice. Hello. I'm like, you're 85.
Yeah, grow up, man.
Grow up, man. But
are they working on a Star Wars?
Oh yeah, they got Star
theme
Wars,
park?
Indiana Jones. That's at Epcot and stuff, or somewhere. No, maybe it was.
Because I'm interested in going. I heard that there was an entire theme park just for Star Wars.
They might be. They're building everything over there. You look around, there's just all this building going on.
Well, they own everything. Disney owns like America.
So they own Pixar, Star. All the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah. I messed with one sales lady because, each ride ends up dropping you off after the roller coaster. You know where they drop you at?
Into a gift shop.
Into a gift shop.
Yeah.
So you ride the Star Wars ride and you get dropped off into a gift shop, which is great for a bunch of kids that have been spoiled all week and need some more stuff. And have wristbands that could just go buy everything
But
in the
Daddy,
store.
I really want the $250 Millennial Falcon keychain.
Yeah. And he's got a grocery cart full. He's just swapping that wristband. Anyway, just to mess with this person, they were dressed up in some Star Wars gear, and I said, "So where's your Star Trek stuff?" Just to mess with them. They just look at me. We don't have Star Trek stuff here. Oh, you don't? Okay. I guess
You should have said that's the next
that's
generation.
Legoland.
That's hilarious.
The Pirates of the Caribbean was a great ride.
Really?
Yeah, and a 4-year-old, I mean, it was intense for him. Like, it's kind of fun because it was just enough. I mean, it's safe enough for him to see, but yet he's scared. Like, he's burying his eyes into his mama. Like he doesn't want to see. And they're shooting cannons, and these characters look real. They're like wax sculptures that are moving. And stuff.
Of course.
And so there was a lot of fun things like that. I did take Charlie on Mount Everest, which is like the real bad, fast, tall roller coaster. Now, we waited 35 minutes in line.
Okay.
He is seeing people. It jets off like a bullet. You know what I'm saying? And now that he's seeing it there, we're not quite yet in, but we're like, whatever, 4 people from getting onto the roller coaster. He starts, Dad, I don't know. I'm like, no, we just waited 35 minutes. There ain't no, I don't know. You're getting on this thing. And he's like, I don't know, Dad. And he said, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And then there's this little mama looking at me like, you should let that boy get out of the line. I'm like, no, he's riding this thing. And so I force him to ride it. Okay. And of course, he's scared on the way there because there's like a group of schoolgirls that was from like band or something from some little Florida high school. And they jump right in front of us. And I mean, they're just like, screaming like girls, the whole way. You could hear them the whole ride, And Charlie's like, I don't want to do it. I said, you're going to do it, and you're going to be happy. And I said,
You'll
so
do it,
I'm
you'll
having
like
this
it.
argument with him. And so we get on it, and he's like, ugh, and he's like hyperventilating. He's like, the lap bar comes down on us, Of course, I got a little beer belly on me, so it's like all loose on him.
They're like, sir, you may not be able to ride this ride.
So he's like, I could just walk right out of this thing, just slide right on out because of my fat daddy. So it's one of them that stops, vertical.
It comes back.
And then goes back in the same motions, reverse,
That's fun.
And so I think it's great. I love that type of stuff. And, but I could tell Charlie with this whole lap bar thing is like, it needs to be tighter, and he's just cranking down on it. My gut's just having this bar in it, okay? And so we get going, and he's screaming, having a good time. And then that bar is so deep in my gut that every time it stops and everything, I feel like it's giving me the Heimlich maneuver.
Oh, really?
And we come back and we finish, and he's laughing at the end of it. I did it. I go, let's do it again. And he's like, no, we're not. We're not doing it again. I couldn't talk about any big boys rides anymore. But that's part of Disney, talking your 7-year-old up into a big boy ride.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's a great experience. Did you see any funny dressed millennials there?
It is Disney, so I think that's who they hire. Yeah. So, have you ever met guys who like wear Disney clothing that are not going to Disney World?
No.
That's something like a guy wearing Mickey Mouse watches, or and like you buy these Mickey ears too, and you wear them at Disney World. But do you ever wear them anywhere else?
No way.
Yeah. You know what I told Sarah?
Tell me.
I said she wanted to buy the ears. I said, we're not buying those ears. I said, we're only going to wear them here, and we'll never wear them again. I said, put them on. And she put them on. I took a picture. I go, there you go.
You'll have it forever.
You have it forever. Put it back on the shelf. We're not buying it. So we literally, that's the idea. Is like, we're not going to spend 20-something bucks a hat.
Right.
For something that don't even keep the sun out of your
eyes.
Rip the ears off. It's one of them little Jewish hats.
Yeah, that's offensive, Matt. Yeah.
But, so it's like, that's what we did. Took a picture. But yeah, there's, millennials were there and their clothing and their cool facial hair that they brought back. And, their neat, tapered, good haircuts. Their, tight pants. I imagine they were chafing like a son of a gun.
Oh, my gosh.
Wearing their pencil pants, walking 12 miles a day in the heat.
Sweating.
Humid Florida weather. That's nice. Yeah. I tell you who is in heaven, though. Not the guy who invented pencil pants. He's probably down low. But the guy who invented yoga pants, I think he's in heaven.
Yeah.
But when a man puts on pencil pants, we see too much,
For sure.
Yeah, what do you call a man that's camatoing?
Oh, God. Stop.
Because that's what pencil pants are, And if you're a man like me who have like huge calves, because I got like God bless me with the big calves, you can't put them on.
It's all that ladder work you've been doing.
Yeah, it's all that.
Is it weird that did you see any single people there, just grown men walking around Disney without a family attached to them?
I saw some of those guys, and I'm thinking that is weird.
Yeah,
because
they're called creepers.
I'd go, yeah, that's what I kind of think. And there's people who are lifetime membership Disney people, like. And they go for, I saw elderly couples that they started taking their kids there.
Uh-huh.
And they enjoy it so much. Now their kids are like our age. They've got grandkids, but these old people are just there because they want to go enjoy Disney with him and their wife.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. And the food is good at certain places. And you can buy these meal plans that makes it a little more affordable.
Okay.
So if you want to like go to Epcot, you could do like this Eat Around the World, where Epcot has like all these different places of the world.
Okay.
You eat
that's cool.
Foods. They have a wine and cheese and food tasting that's real popular for older people that go to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of fun things, but you do see older people or people there without kids enjoying Disney, so it can be pretty magical.
So you're talking about your road trip there. I just got off a road trip myself. We just went up to Missouri with it was my wife and I and another couple, and then two other people, a guy and a girl, and they're not together, but they were on the road trip with us. And road trips can be fun.
Yeah, it can be fun, especially with adults.
Yeah.
With your little kids, it's
a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
My wife always wants to make road trips fun, though, for the kids. Let's stop here, let's do this. And
we did that.
I'm the kind of guy that when I get in the truck or the car or the van, I want to get there. It's just the next 10 hours are an obstacle between me and where I want to be.
Yeah, so I just got back from this road trip with my family, and that's exactly, we did like your wife did, and it was very enjoyable. We would drive 4 to 6 hours a day.
Okay.
And then we would stop at a city that has a cool museum, or we did a lot of Civil War battlefields going through that.
Oh, cool.
And then so we went to Vicksburg. We had Horners that fought on the north and the south.
Oh, wow.
And so we found the graves and took sketching of them.
Really?
And the Horners lost in every way. The ones on the north died. The ones in the south became prisoners of war.
Oh, my gosh.
So it was kind of a bad deal for the Horner family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here you are.
Here we are. I'm from the south ones because obviously the north ones couldn't reproduce.
Yeah.
You had a bullet in you.
That's crazy.
It was kind of neat, so we'd stop and do things like that.
Yeah.
We'd always stay at hotels. I like hotels with indoor pools, even in the summer.
Absolutely.
Because you're out of the sun. It's climate control, so if a storm comes.
No doubt
So
about it.
we'd tire them out with the swimming, and then we'd we'd be so tired too. We'd go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
So it was fun. So 19 hours is a long ways, but if you break it up in little 6-hour drive days, not bad.
Yeah.
With Disney while you're driving.
So
it was literally a whole new world. I mean, we had our Hakuna Matata every day.
Did it take you 3 days to get there?
Yeah, it took us about 3.5 days.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why I was gone for 9 days.
Yeah.
3 days there, 3 days back. Stopped at Biloxi. That was a fun little town. Yep. And then, it was because we wanted to go to the beach, and it was the easiest place to stop at the beach. But just so happened, Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, his home was there on the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a plantation type thing.
Uh-huh.
So that's a museum, so we go there. And I just wanted to bring up some Jefferson Davis facts real quick.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Only on the Barbershop.
Yeah.
And you'd hear this in the Barbershop, especially.
This is kind of the man who lost the Confederacy, the cause, I guess. Thank goodness in some ways. But he was a pretty smart guy. He was a civil engineer like my wife.
Okay.
Graduated from West Point. You know what he was the military commander in the 1850s, right before the Civil War.
Okay.
For all of America. He modernized the muskets from flintlock to percussion, which made it a lot. You could shoot in the rain and stuff, and it made the guns a lot better. He modernized the railroad to go east and west and stuff like that to work with military. He led in the Mexican-American War and was a famous battle where he charged up a hill and did really well. Became a national hero. Being an engineer, he built the dome on the Capitol in Washington, D.C., some bridges, and he started the Smithsonian that we go and visit today.
Oh, wow.
So you think of all that, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know all that stuff.
No way.
He was actually he was a mixed bag, you know what I'm saying? Of course, he was for slavery. So that's kind of the negative side of him.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when you hear about all these other things he did, well, what was really shocking is that he did all this military great things, but then he ended up fighting against the military that he modernized.
Mm.
And so, like, the railroads that he helped design to help with national defense and stuff ended up biting him in the butt because then he was in the South and the Unions had the railroads that would help, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Move troops and stuff.
Did he die in the war?
No, he didn't die in the war. He died of old age. And he wrote several books about the Confederacy and stuff like that. And then his family ended up being friends with the Pulitzers. So, the Pulitzer Prize, which is a guy who owned a newspaper in New York and all that. His daughters ended up being, he had 6 kids. 5 of them die. Only one daughter lives past him and his wife. So they had a lot of loss and tragedy.
Sounds like it.
It was neat to learn, but it was just funny about that. I realized I'm learning all this stuff with a 4-year-old pulling at my knee and stuff, touching some Civil War artifact that he shouldn't be touching, playing a piano that's 100 years old and things like that. Thinking, why do I take you to these nice places?
Yeah, seriously. Should have left you at home.
Yeah.
Gone to Disney by myself.
So I flogged him with his Mickey Mouse stuffed animal. Take that! Don't you ever touch that again. There was like all these statues there of Confederate stuff that, you'd read on. And then, of course, here's a picture of my son's climbing halfway up this soldier that's like a marble soldier or something. Like, get down from there. What are you, damn koala?
Yes, the answer is yes. Today.
Yeah.
That's
we
funny.
were at all these, supposed to be like somber. There's this dome, and they put up for like the soldiers that died at Vicksburg. Which it was honoring North and South, and there was 18,000 people died in this battle. Can you imagine that?
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't lost that many people really in Iraq and Afghanistan yet.
Yeah.
We've been there for 15 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
And
tremendous amounts of loss.
And but it made great echo noises in this dome that we were in. And my boy he whistled and he heard it echo back. And I looked over at him, and before I could say anything, he started to yell, "Wah! Wah! Wah!" And there's all these people, and they're trying to read the names and the poetry that's carved into the marble and stuff. And here's my boy crowing like a chicken. In this thing, I'm looking over at him like, "What are you doing?"
Shut up.
And I said, "This is a place of respect. Quit that. Good job, but quit it." I did turn to look at my wife. They designed this well.
Yeah. Listen to that echo.
Mm-hmm. So it's fun, road trips, and that's what things, when you travel with the kids and stuff, it just surprises you what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
No car issues, that's the whole thing when you travel like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I drove by people with flat tires on the interstate, and you're just like, oh, Lord, be with them, protect them, and hope that doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not like a flat tire is the end of the world, but it can, can slow you down.
And I did check all 4 of my tires, but I didn't do the most important thing. I didn't check my spare. So every time I drove by them, I'm like, I hope my spare's there. You know what I'm saying? And you have a mound of luggage on top of to get to your spare.
Okay.
Because you're traveling for that many days.
Exactly.
Have you ever been in that boat, where you had to unload everything to get to a jack or a tire?
Yeah, I have been in that boat. Yeah. It's a pain.
It is a pain.
It's a huge pain.
Normally 100-degree day.
Oh, yeah, it's sweltering. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So, anyway, we were blessed there. The Lord protected us and kept us safe.
That's good. We didn't have any car trouble either, which is pretty rare. I did spend about an hour driving to 3 different Chick-fil-A's because the first one I went to was inside of a hospital. Second one I went to was closed for remodeling. We got into the Chick-fil-A and they're carrying boxes out. No one even's talking to us. They're just carrying stuff out.
Yeah.
And then the third one we finally got to took several wrong turns, which is unusual for me on a road trip. So it was pretty exciting getting up there to Missouri.
Yeah. I'm going on a road trip next week, so we won't be doing a podcast, but I'm going with my father-in-law to Moab, Utah. And so we were talking about, traveling with kids. And my father-in-law's like, so I'm talking to him last night, and he goes like, well, you ready to go again? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to bring a sleeping bag? And I go, yeah, I'm bringing a sleeping bag and pillow. And he goes, yeah. We'll just stop at truck stops, and when it's time to sleep, roll our sleeping bags out on the back bed of the truck and sleep, and then get back in the truck and keep going. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's the way we're going to do it. You see him saying? Because he wants to get to this national park to go four-wheeling.
Okay.
You see him saying?
Uh-huh.
And so we're going to drive what took me 3 days with kids and a wife. We're going to drive that in really quick.
A day.
Yeah, a day. We're going to swap out, and we're just going to hit it hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it is funny because when you're with a bunch of guys,
you can do that.
It's like we're not getting a hotel room. We're just going to, sleep in the truck and keep going.
Yep.
So you do road trip differently with a different crowd.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can have a lot more fun, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes without kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys can get themselves into trouble on road trips.
Mm-hmm.
We went on this road trip with this one guy who had this big souped-up diesel. I didn't know this was a thing, but you can, hit a lower gear or whatever and send black smoke out this exhaust, and smoke these guys, and it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I remember my high school road trips, there was a lot of mooning involved and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially young guys. You got to watch out there. And there was, when we camped out in Colorado, my high school road trip, a little senior trip. Me and my buddies just went to Colorado, went camping, and fun things like that. And then we're basically broke. We're hungry. We're sitting around a fire, and we all just look. I guess it's time to go home, guys. We go, yeah, it's time to go home. Well, what are we waiting on? And we just gather our stuff up. And at that moment, in that evening,
just left.
We left. There was no. We drove back to Stephenville, Texas, at 125 miles an hour.
Oh, my gosh.
All the way. You know what I'm saying? And we had a $100 bet on whoever could get to Stephenville first would get the last $100.
Oh, wow.
And we burned it. And looking back on it, we almost died so many times on that trip. But you travel differently.
You do.
And there was a lot of mooning. There was a lot of throwing pee-pee bottles at Bob's at the other guy behind you. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea what that's about.
You pee in a jug and you throw it at somebody.
So not a Molotov cocktail, but a pee cocktail.
Yeah.
A urine cocktail.
So that happens. So you travel differently with a different group of guys.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Now it's just a wet diaper I chunk out.
Yeah.
Take that.
Alabama.
Alabama. Uh-huh.
Well, that's cool. Well, thanks for sharing your Disney story.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Well, thanks for listening to the Barbershop, and have a Kuna Matata day.